Hey guys, Hector here. What's more Pokemon Sun and Moon news? I know I haven't really been doing a bunch of update videos because it's mostly just been talking about the newest Pokemon, releasing new information, and there's just not much to say. You know, it's like, oh, this Pokemon design is kind of cool, this Pokemon is kind of lame or whatever. There's just not much to say, though everybody's like totally in love with Mimikyu. But today, they released a ton of new information, stuff that I actually have an opinion on, and so I wanted to comment on it and do a little video. Of course, there's so much information I can't remember off the top of my head, so I want to go through it. I got some information from the official Pokemon website, the English version, and the Japanese version, and then a little bit from Cerebi, because of course they translated the Japanese version stuff. So first, I'm going to start off with the big stuff, because you know a lot of people go with small stuff and work their way up. F that, we're going with big stuff. Number one topic, the Z moves. So this is the thing that everybody was looking at. You know, everybody noticed a little wristband. They're like, oh my god, what's that wristband? And then there's some dude on YouTube talking about, oh, maybe we're going to like fuse with Pokemon or something, because they kind of got that off some manga. Well, that's not what it is. It's Z moves, and it's pretty much like an ultimate move, but there's one for each type. Like one ultimate move for electric types, one ultimate move for water types and stuff like that. And before, there were ultimate moves just for fire, water, and grass for the starters, and only for the starter Pokemon. But this is a different type of ultimate move, a Z move for all Pokemon to my knowledge, but only one move for each type. So in order to do it, you have to have a Z ring and then a Z crystal, and that crystal has to be the same type as a Pokemon and their move, if I'm getting this right, because this is a little confusing. So basically, you have to have like the Z ring, and let's say you're using Pikachu, because everybody knows about Pikachu. It's an electric type. You have to have a Z crystal of the electric type, I think, in your Z ring, and then the Pikachu has to know an electric move, and then you can use the Z move once per battle. I think that's what it says, because yeah, there's just a lot of information to go through. I think that's how it works. And in my opinion, I think that's pretty awesome. I think this is like 100 times better than Mega Pokemon. Just, one ultimate move once per battle. And even, in the anime and stuff like that, or in any sort of show, anime, manga, whatever, there's always a big battle, and then there's always one big move that they can do at the end of the battle to see who wins, And this can kind of be similar to it, and we don't have to worry with Mega Evolution and the whole stat changes and all that kind of BS. I really didn't like Mega Evolution. The Z moves seem pretty cool, in my opinion. It also says on the official Pokemon website that they're going to have a Z Ring toy for people to actually buy, and it's going to release at the same time the video game releases, I think, and it's made by the Tomy International Corporation or whatever, which are the same people that made the little Pokemon figures, and I think they still are making the Pokemon figures. I don't know, but I still have like 30 or so of some of the original 151 Pokemon figures. So yeah, side note. And then another huge announcement is Alola form Pokemon. So of course we knew that there's going to be older Pokemon mixed with a new Pokemon, but they showed off some older Pokemon with brand new types and moves. So they showed off a Sandshrew that's going to be Ice and Steel type with a Snow Cloak ability. Of course, Snow Cloak raises your evasion when you're in a hailstorm. And same with Sandslash is going to be Ice and Steel type with a Snow Cloak ability. Remember, they're usually ground type, and they look different, and then they have, Ice and Steel type moves and all that stuff. So that's going to be super, super interesting. On one hand, you think, why couldn't they just create some other sort of mouse type Pokemon, because it's kind of like a mouse Pokemon, and make that a nice type instead of just getting the older Pokemon and then switching it around, and instead of them being ground, they're Ice and Steel now, because it can get a little confusing with these new type matchups. And maybe if you're just like, no, we don't need new Pokemon, we're already like 700s whatever, I don't know, because it was a 721 Pokemon for the last generation, and now with this generation we're gonna go maybe into 800. So if you're saying we don't need new Pokemon, we can just redo it, I guess. But in my opinion, I think you should just make new Pokemon with new matchups. Like Donphan was a example, because you know everybody's like, oh, we already have bird Pokemon, we don't need another new bird Pokemon. With Pidgey and then Hoot Hoot and then Staraptor and you know all those different Pokemon. So I can understand no more new bird Pokemon, that's fine. But I always looked at like Donphan and said, you know, this is the only elephant kind of Pokemon we have, and it's just a ground type Pokemon. Why don't we have an actual big elephant type Pokemon that's like a water type Pokemon? Because you know I always see like a National Geographic Channel elephants going in the water and stuff like that and squirting water out of their nose or whatever. And then like the only giraffe Pokemon was like Girafarig, I think, and that's kind of a lame Pokemon. So I think they can really make new Pokemon instead of just taking the old Pokemon and then reworking the types and the abilities and all that. But some people might find this interesting. But yeah, another new type, Alolan, Vulpix, and Ninetales. Remember, Vulpix and Ninetales are like in my top 10 favorite Pokemon. I think I might have talked about it in another video. Maybe I just wrote about it on my website. I don't know. So Vulpix is just going to be an Ice type, and it's going to have the Snow Cloak ability. And Ninetales is going to be an Ice and Fairy type with the Snow Cloak ability. And so those designs look pretty badass, and Ninetales doesn't even really fully look like Ninetales. Vulpix, of course, just looks like Vulpix, but it's white. But like they could have really made a Ninetales similar type Pokemon that's a Fox Ice Fairy type, and it didn't even have to be called Ninetales, and people would have just accepted it. But you know, they just reworked Ninetales. But still, like I'm saying, the design looks badass, and it's definitely going to be in my team. Although I wanted my starter to be that cat fire type, so... Well, yeah, I'm still thinking Ninetales is going to be fire type, but no, this is going to be an Ice and Fairy, so yeah, it will work in my team. So I won't have 2 fire types. And then lastly, they also talked about the Alolan Executor. And of course, Executor, or Executor, however you want to pronounce it. It was normally just grass and psychic type, which is a pretty interesting type. But this version is going to be a grass and dragon type. I don't know why it's going to be dragon type, but it's going to be dragon type, and it's going to have the Frisk ability, which allows you to see what your opponent's Pokemon item is, like what item it's holding. And then its neck is super long, so it actually looks like a palm tree or a coconut tree or whatever. And yeah, it's just kind of weird that this Pokemon is a dragon type, but it is cool type matchup of grass and dragon. I believe this is the very first grass and dragon, and I have seen like fan art of grass and dragon and what could be an awesome grass and dragon, but we're stuck with this ugly ass Executor as a grass and dragon. Now there's this new thing called Pokemon Ride, which allows you to ride 3 different types of Pokemon to go across land, sea, and air, similar to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, where you had Mega Latios and Mega Latias and you just called them and then you can fly over Hoenn. Well, now you can do that pretty similarly in Sun and Moon, at least to what it seems like it's saying. So you can call a Charizard to help you fly across the Alola region. And it doesn't even have to be on your team, just like Mega Latios and Mega Latias didn't have to be on your team. And then you can get a Sharpedo to surf across the area. So maybe you don't need surf anymore, maybe you don't need fly anymore. And then you can call a new Pokemon called Mudsdale, I guess. And it just allows you to ride across the land, which, I don't know, is that really going to be useful if we have a bike? Maybe it's like through certain terrains, maybe? I don't know. But, well, I guess if you like don't have to use Cut or Rock Smash or something like that, that would be super useful with Mudsdale going across the terrain that way. But if it's not, then I don't really see the point. And then some more big news, which is kind of confusing, is hyper training. So we already have super training where you can train your Pokemon with the punching bags and stuff, and that boosts up their effort values, which is similar to taking the vitamins like protein and iron and all that stuff. Well, now there's hyper training, and it says you use bottle caps and give them to Mr. Hyper, and then that boosts your Pokemon's strength. It says even above level 100. Does this increase like the individual values instead of the effort values, or what? Because this is still kind of vague of what they've written on the official Pokemon website. But it's still pretty interesting, and I like to see how this works or how this plays out. Then there's another new thing called Island Challenge Trials. Kind of reminded me of the Cloister Trials from Final Fantasy X, but I don't think it's going to be the same thing. So in each of the 4 islands, there's a challenge trial, and it says they take a variety of forms, such as finding items or completing tests of knowledge. You will not be able to accomplish them with ordinary methods. Then after you clear out the whole trial, I guess, then you fight a totem Pokemon, and it says the totem Pokemon is much larger than others of its species, and its body is enveloped in a special aura. I don't know what that really means, though. Again, it's still pretty vague. Like, what is this? You know, what's the special aura, and is it, since it's bigger, is it going to be stronger, or what? And it says when the totem Pokemon battle, they can call in, you know, other Pokemon to come help them. I guess it can kind of be like a horde battle, sort of, maybe. And then it says, and there's grand trials. The final trial on each island is called the grand trial. It's a Pokemon battle against the Kahuna, who leads that island. And if a trial goer succeeds in clearing this grand trial, he or she will be publicly recognized as having cleared all of the island's trials and can move on to the next island. So I guess that's the only way you move from one island to the other. You have to complete these trials. And I hope there's still gyms, because I haven't really heard anything about Pokemon gyms, just these trials so far. And there's 4 different trial captains, and then the Kahunas after that, I guess. Yeah, and then they have some information on each captain and then one of the Kahunas on the official Pokemon website. So that's all the Pokemon Sun and Moon news. Now, I'm going to try and update my website with all the Pokemon Sun and Moon latest info on the walkthrough page, because I still want to do a full walkthrough later on this year if I have time. I really hope I have time. But that's it. You can thumbs up this video if you liked it, or appreciate me doing it and talking about it, giving my opinion. And I'd love to hear everybody else's opinion. What do you guys think about these Z moves, and then the Pokemon ride, and the new Pokemon, and the hyper training, and all that stuff? You can give me your own opinion on what it is, or some speculation on what you think some of this stuff might be, or how it'll work. And you can also subscribe to my channel for more gaming related stuff. Sometimes I do vlogs talking about different things, certain topics, certain news, speculation, rumors, whatevs. Or I do gameplays and reviews and strategy guides and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I guess that's it. See you guys later.